On this week's show, Liberty Hoops battles in the second round of the NIT, and we remember legendary soccer coach Bill Bell.
Plus, the sounds of spring. Football gets back to work on the gridiron while former Flames show their talents at Pro Day. It's Flames Central, and it starts now.
What's up? Welcome to Flames Central, your home for Liberty Flames athletics. Alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner, and we have so much to get to on the show this week. We really could have made it 2 shows.
Yeah, but I only get paid for 1 show, and sometimes that's a stretch. So we found a way to fit it all in one. We begin with the end of basketball season. Unfortunately, the Flames finishing up in the NIT.
Yeah, after beating Villanova in the first round of the NIT, Liberty would head to Wisconsin to face a physical Badger squad. Wisconsin, they've got size, they've got strength. They would try to use it all to their advantage throughout this ball game. Playing through the post, Steven Crowell was a handful, scoring 14 first-half points, but the Flames would shoot it well enough to hang around. Kyle Rode, 4 of 7 from deep in the ball game, and Liberty trailed by only 3 at the half. Second half, Liberty making its move. Darius McGee would create for others, finishing with 4 assists in this one, and he would certainly create for himself, finishing with a game-high 31 points. Liberty led by as many as 7 in the second half, but the Badgers would reclaim the lead late. The play of the game, though, coming with under 40 seconds left. LU down just 1. They get a clean look for Kyle Rode. It rattles in and out. The tip-in attempt also off the mark, and Liberty falls in a tight one, 75-71. Darius McGee's incredible career comes to a close, as does the season for the Flames. They finished 27-9 on the year.
Super grateful for how we responded all night. We knew coming in they were going to be a tough team, and loved playing with these guys, and sad it's the last time we'll be playing with this team, but just super grateful for the experience and thought we did a really good job.
We have guys that love the game and love each other, and it's an honor to coach them. I mean that sincerely, and anytime it's your last game, it's tough, but I know we lost to a worthy opponent, and wish them all the best in the rest of the postseason.
I have no doubt that Liberty will build on this experience and be better than ever next season. All right, let's switch gears to the gridiron. Typically, new head football coach Jamie Chadwell holds spring ball in February, but with this being his first year with the Flames, he wanted to push it back to March and spend those first few months really getting to know his players off the field. Now that he and his staff have that checked off the list, it's time to get back to work.
Ready.
Spring break is officially in the rearview mirror for the Flames as they get back to business. As you may remember, new head coach Jamie Chadwell told us that the focus of spring ball is to lay the foundation for this team's identity. He's also obviously bringing that new offense to the mountain, so they're implementing a lot of new changes on that side of the ball. But for the defense, a lot is staying the same. Because in the words of defensive line coach Skylar McGee,
we don't want to change something that worked. We're trying to continue doing what they've done in the past, but also add some tweaks to it and developing some sound, solid techniques that you can play a lot of different things to and really hone in on some things that's going to carry us forward to the fall.
It's helped that there's a number of players returning on the defensive side who can help echo those coaching points to the younger or less experienced guys. Those veterans have also stepped up in the leadership area as well.
Anytime your players see your good players working really hard, it obviously, encourages them to do the same. So we kind of got them at levels a little bit. You got Quentin on the back end. You got Akil in the middle at linebackers. He's a little bit more of a non-vocal guy, but he leads by example. And then you have Kendi up front leading the way with those guys. And again, you got guys like Steven Sings who doesn't say a whole lot, but he leads positively and he leads by example a lot.
And the list doesn't stop there. Coach McGee hopes some others will grow in their leadership roles throughout spring. Just a reminder, there is one final transfer portal window from May 1st through the 15th. And while the Flames have a solid group right now, don't be surprised if they look to the portal for another 1 or 2 guys to provide that much-needed depth in order to have a successful fall season. Man, I'm so excited to see how this team will grow in the next few weeks, and you can too, because you can come out and see the Flames in their spring game on Saturday, April 15th. And guess what the best part about this is, Matt Warner?
What?
It's free.
Oh, music to my ears.
Yeah, so no excuses. Bring out the entire family and come feel this energy that Jamie Chadwell has brought to the Mountain and to this program.
Yeah, let's keep it on the gridiron, shall we? The NFL Draft begins on April 27th in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri. And some former Flames hope to hear their name called. A good performance this week at Liberty's Pro Day would certainly help their case. We caught up with a few of them to get their thoughts on the experience. On Tuesday, NFL evaluators from across the league converged on Lynchburg, Virginia for Liberty football's annual Pro Day. A chance for former Flames to try to catch the eye of NFL scouts. For a guy like Demario Douglas, who's already performed well at the Shrine Bowl and the NFL Combine, this day didn't carry as much weight. But for his teammates, this may well be their best chance to earn themselves an opportunity at the next level.
This is a job interview. So we just take it as it is and move accordingly.
It's definitely an opportunity, and it's definitely very, very important. I have an opportunity to have this pro day, being out here to show our talents and just really finishing off the race, man. After this, it's not in our hands anymore, man. It's in the eyes of the beholder, which is the GMs and the head coaches of the NFL, man. So that's really it.
I was just trying to come out here and have fun. Like, even towards the drills, it's just me. I'm gassed, but I'm just smiling like, see, it's a blessing to be out here. I love the opportunity to come out here and just showcase my talent. Good, bad, let me know what I need to work on. So I ain't really too mad about it.
Seeing all those NFL logos can make this a nerve-wracking experience. But these former Flames tried to set all that aside and focus on the job at hand.
Being here in front of 20-some scouts from all across the league, man. So just seeing those different logos and obviously teams that like I've really rooted for growing up is kind of surreal. But then again, you have to realize like this is business. So like you have to flip the switch and you can't be a fan anymore. You got to be a professional.
That's the blessing. It makes me think like, wow, I want to impress them all, but really, hopefully I impress one that's really going to take a time and take a chance on me. So that's all that really matters.
The next month for these players becomes a waiting game, hoping for a spot in the NFL, but also being grateful for any pro football opportunity that may arise.
Wherever the Lord leads me to is my destination. I know that's my passion, and I know that's where He wants me to be. So every day I was just giving my all out there, no matter what it is. Playing in the league, playing in the CFL, USFL.
Playing football as long as you can is a blessing. Like, you're playing a kid's game for a king's salary. Even if you're at XFL, USFL, you're getting paid more than the average person to play something you love.
Obviously, the NFL is where you want to be, but I will also be just as content in any other professional league as well. Because at the end of the day, football is football. And if one person gets the opportunity to get paid to play football, that's a blessing in itself, wherever it is.
We'll keep you posted on where all of those guys land. Well, as Matt just mentioned, possibly one of the biggest names showing off his talents at LU's Pro Day was Demario Douglas. Despite his size, we saw the slot receiver reach great heights here at Liberty, and he's continuing to do so with impressive performances at the East-West Shrine Bowl, the Combine, and at Pro Day. Because he was in the Berg, he decided, I need to come on the Flames Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage, where he talked more on this NFL draft process. Tell us what the last few weeks, months have been like, preparing for this NFL draft coming up.
It's been a grind. It's a blessing to be in this position, one. But I've been training in Fort Lauderdale XPE with a lot of known receivers, and we just been pushing each other. We created a brotherhood in the first day. It was crazy. So when somebody do something, the other one's like, oh, I'm gonna beat it, So it's like we pushed each other, and then we seen gains while doing it.
What would you say is your strength, the best part of your game?
How I separate from, defenders, and how I create space. So my route running.
That was something that actually Hugh Freeze talked about. Remember that? We talked to him
once.
One
of the best, he said.
Yeah, towards the end of his time here, he said, one of the best he's ever coached.
Hey, you know how some podcasts are funny?
Yeah.
You know how some are informative?
Yeah.
You know how some are completely exclusive?
Yes.
Well, the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage, is all of that and more.
Oh.
You can check out this entire conversation with Demario. Joe Yock gets completely out of control. He's up running routes on sets, giving Demario all kinds of advice that he probably won't use at the next level. It's good stuff either way. Download and subscribe today.
Well, this past week, Liberty Athletics lost an absolute legend. Former men's soccer coach Bill Bell passed away at the age of 85. A Liberty Athletics Hall of Famer who coached at LU for 21 seasons. His profession was soccer, but his passion was sharing the gospel. And as you're about to see, the legacy he leaves is one with an eternal impact. To call Bill Bell a soccer legend is no exaggeration. Born in Scotland, Bell would play in the English Soccer League for the likes of Leeds United and Leicester City, among others, while also playing for his national team. Then when his playing career was done, he would coach at the professional level. To put it plainly, soccer was the driving force in his life, or at least it was, until he was fired as the coach at Lincoln City in 1978.
One of the most consistent things in a game is this: coaches get fired. When I, at that time, lost my job, that's when I sat down and I thought, what have I done with my life? I'd almost neglected my family. The game takes over your life, and that's what happened to me until that day I accepted the Lord as my Saviour. And from that point onwards, my life had completely changed. My priorities had changed. It was the Lord, my family, and then the game.
Bell would begin to yield to God's direction, and shortly thereafter, while spending time in the U.S., he would receive a call from a man named Ed Dobson.
He invited us through. He said, I want you to come and see this college, Liberty Baptist College in Lynchburg, Virginia. I said, where's Lynchburg?
He would find out soon enough, eventually accepting the job as just the second soccer coach in Liberty's history. Bell would quickly set out to grow the program and do it the right way.
We went from NCCAA to NAIA to Division II to Division I.
He would not compromise from an integrity standpoint that we're not going to cut corners. We are who we are. We're going to do it the right way every day and do things right. And then that way, at the end of the game, we will have the respect and admiration, we hope, of the opposition so we can share about our God. And so he lived that out daily, but he was a competitive guy.
And the skills that allowed him to play at the highest level were still evident to those who played for him.
Well, here's Coach Bell, who when he would do demos was better than anybody on the field. And he would, he wouldn't even warm up, and he'd get a ball and he'd drive a ball 60 yards onto a guy's foot, and everybody would just look at each other like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how I'm supposed to do it. But none of us could do that. Here's a guy who was at the highest level. The stuff that they watch, the EPL that they watch on the weekend, every Saturday morning that they're watching, he coached at that level. He played at that level. And then he gave all that up to come here to coach at Liberty. That, to this day, still blows my mind.
Winning was important, but to Coach Bell, the gospel was always the number one priority.
I wanted to get a team that would represent the Lord in the right fashion. My judgment for a Christian player at any level is this: when you lose a game, are you as a player prepared to go to the other team and share your faith? Or are you just going to bury your head in your hands because you lost?
Just as a coach looks for opportunities to score on the field, Coach Bell looked for opportunities to share the gospel off it. And in one instance, after Guilford College's team van broke down, Bell had the perfect opportunity.
I walked into the Guilford dressing room and I came in and said, excuse me lads, I said, your coach won't be long, the van will be repaired and we'll send it, but would you just hang on for a minute till I tell you something? If the van breaks down when you're on your way home and you're all in a crash, do you know where you're going if you die? And they all looked at each other. And then I started to talk about what the Lord offers them. After I'd finished, I said, now, did anybody here accept Christ? And the whole Guilford team put their hands up. And this wee guy behind me that was collecting all their gear, their manager, the team manager, shouted, praise the Lord, he shouted. And I turned and I said, are you a Christian, son? A Christian? He said, I've been praying for these guys for 2 years.
And Coach Bell's obvious passion for sharing Christ is forever ingrained in the minds of those who played for him.
Coach Bell was actually the greatest human physical example I have ever seen for sharing the gospel.
We always joked that there was a telephone pole, he'll go preach to that telephone pole until that telephone pole bowed down and gave its life to Christ. I mean, he would go and go and go.
he had this ability to just be so bold in his faith. And when we got done with the games, it wasn't just, hey, we're going to go mingle with the other team. It was, we're going to pray with them. We're going to witness to them.
It was after the game talking to other players. That's where we saw our coach shine. And it was the greatest joy in my life to watch that firsthand and see God use a great man to lead other people to Christ.
I think all of us are living out what Coach Bell taught us through the process. You can't really quantify the impact and influence that he's had, but you can see it throughout the country, throughout the world.
Such a great life lived. You know, when I think of Coach Bell, I think of bold. You know, he was not afraid to share his faith with anyone, whether it was at an Applebee's or the soccer field. You know, he will just be remembered. And we heard from one of his former players, Brent Ward. I was messaging with him this week. And he didn't just impact his players and people that he talked to. This is carrying on. Brent said that his daughter, just out of the blue, shared the gospel with some guy on the side of the street. So you can just tell his impact is eternal.
Well, and don't forget, too, after he finished coaching here at Liberty, he actually walked away earlier than most would have so that he and his wife could pour their lives into a prison ministry, sharing the gospel to prisoners back in England. Just such a great example and an absolute legend in the faith.
Yeah, we definitely will always remember Coach Bell. All right, coming up after the break, we'll hit the diamond for an update on Lady Flames softball. Plus, we'll share some of the program's elite numbers.
And Rhett McGibbon names his top athletes of the week in Warm, Hot, and Fuego. That's all when Flames Central returns.
Welcome to Liberty University's online programs, where living out your calling with integrity is what you train to do. And getting ready for the future doesn't mean missing out on the now. Because a university is more than buildings and books. And an education should set you free, not fence you in. Welcome to Liberty's global campus, where distance learning was pioneered and evolved into one of the top-ranked schools in the nation. Where protecting your budget, your time, and your education isn't just a theory, it's our priority. Here, degrees in your field reflect industry demands and help you get ahead of the competition. Where college comes to you, but you can come to college too. Game day, homecoming, graduation day. Your school, your values, your experience, your choice. Welcome to Liberty University, where we train champions for Christ.
You know, as throughout my public career, we've had a bias toward hiring Liberty University graduates because for me, I believe in character hiring. We look for men and women of integrity who can come into our organization, whether it's our time at the White House or when I was governor or when I was in the Congress. And I truly do believe that one of the great things about Liberty University is it's training leaders, whether they will go and serve in government, whether they will go and serve in our military, whether they'll lead in business or in education or any whole range of professional occupations. For me, having men and women of integrity in public life is a hope of the nation. And when men and women of integrity rise into leaders of position, God blesses America. And my hope is that we'll see this rising generation here at Liberty University answer the call to serve.
God's calling for your life can be specific, and at Liberty, we are committed to equipping you to pursue that calling. Choose from more than 350 unique programs of study, or design your own major through interdisciplinary studies, and be confident your major is the perfect fit. No matter how specific your calling, you'll find a program of study to match at Liberty University and become your best as a champion for Christ.
Welcome back to Flames Central. Liberty softball had its 15-game win streak snapped by number 14 Duke on Tuesday. But if we've learned one thing about the Lady Flames this season, you can knock them down, but they are going to get right back up, which is exactly what they did at North Carolina on Wednesday. Liberty took it 5-1. Carly Keeney really showed up in the circle. She pitched a complete game, allowing just one unearned run while striking out 3. The Lady Flames return home to host FGCU in a 3-game ASUN series this weekend. When you look at what this softball program has accomplished and is still accomplishing today, it's quite remarkable. That success seems to start at the top because we all know head coach Dot Richardson has played and won at the highest levels. And she's setting her team up to do the same because once you see these numbers, you're going to be fired up. The best is yet to come. Winning isn't easy, but Liberty softball has made it look that way, as it has turned into a national force in recent seasons. You want NCAA regional appearances? They got them. The Lady Flames have gone dancing 3 of the past 5 seasons, with 2 of those appearances reaching the regional final. They know how to win, and they do it consistently. They've even recorded 5 straight 40-win seasons, one of only 7 Division I teams that can make that claim. They say home is where the heart is, but it's also where the wins are. Liberty has been dominant on its home field. In the past 5 seasons, the Lady Flames are 93-15 at Camp Ice Field. That's an .860 win percentage. If that's not impressive enough, they've recorded 11 wins over top 25 opponents under head coach Dot Richardson. That's right, we don't just beat anybody, we beat the best. And since we brought up Coach Richardson, her resume speaks for itself. You may know about her playing days when she won 2 Olympic gold medals. Well, she's had to make more room in the trophy case. In the last 6 seasons, she's won Conference Coach of the Year 4 times. Her players have also taken home some hardware. In the last 2 seasons, Liberty has swept the ASUN Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year awards. If there were any other awards, they probably would have won those too. All that to say, Liberty softball has established itself as a powerhouse in this game. And the scary thing is, the Lady Flames are only getting better.
Oh, man, Dot Richardson has that softball program rolling right now. And Rhett McGibbon joins us now, as he does each and every week for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Top player moment in Liberty Athletics over the past week. Rhett, you've got a lot of good ones to choose from.
I really do. Okay, going men's tennis right off the bat here. Josh Wilson, 8th time in his career ASUN Player of the Week. He gets that honor.
8th time?
Yeah, with the OU, because this guy's from England, right? Honor with an OU.
I gotcha.
It's from Reigate, England. Now, what do you ask about people from England, their hometown? Do they have a castle? Yes, he does.
No, he does
They happen to have a castle in their hometown. Good for him. Now, you know, I was saying this to you earlier.
Yeah.
Not many things surprise me when I look at Liberty athletes anymore, but this one popped out to me. Josh Wilson, all-time wins leader for Liberty tennis.
He's moved into first.
He is first. And you think about, like, Nikes Mwamba, right? A stud. Josh Wilson right behind him his entire career and is now leapt out in front. Good for him. And he has just been rocking. 4-0 this past week, just tearing it up. He's ranked in singles, in doubles as well. So he has just had a tremendous career, quiet career, and is really finishing strong.
Yeah, and he's a guy, if you ever get a chance to talk to him, very, very impressive kid as well. Really well spoken. All right, from warm, we go to hot.
Yeah, Desmond Coleman here, discus thrower. This guy, he's been, tearing it up from Charlotte, North Carolina. I was thinking about Charlotte. And then I got thinking about the airport, and I just got angry because there's always delayed. You know, there's always delays there.
They got those nice rocking chairs if you can get one.
That is true. Yeah. That's a good point. But hey, Des, ASUN Field Athlete of the Week, Freshman of the Week, won the discus at the Bob Davidson Memorial Invitational with a 187 feet, 11-inch throw. Now, get this. As a freshman, he's already 6th nationally.
Yeah.
He has the best throw for freshmen in the nation. In just one contest, he's already ranked 4th all time in Liberty history. Like, that's a pretty good weekend, I would say, for you. Yeah, this guy just, chucking rocks.
Yeah. He has a very good chance to be one of the all-time greats
for sure.
Here and a national title contender as he moves
100%.
All right, from hot, I'm losing track here.
That's okay.
Hot, in Fuego. Who we got for in Fuego?
Yeah,
right?
It's Kyle Rode. And, I go back to this Wisconsin game, and I'm thinking more career-wise, right? What a classy kid. And he had 16 points versus Wisconsin. I don't even really want to focus on that. You just look at his time through the Liberty program. He comes in as a freshman. You see the glimpse of, hey, this kid's got a ton of offensive potential. And could he have delved into that more? Yeah, but I don't think the team needed that. He always had great shooters around him, and he was always that guy like, hey, coach, what do you need from me for our team to be the best? Yeah. And that's what I think Kyle Rode will be remembered for. And just, he had times where, yeah, you needed him to step up and hit a big shot, and he'd be able to do that. He could defend well. They used him as a point guard at times because he saw the floor so well. Like, this guy, it's going to be sad to see him go if he does go this season. Hopefully comes back. We don't know, but what a career he had. So much fun to watch. And I think he's going to be one of those guys where you sit back 5 or 6 years from now, I'm like, man, Kyle Rode was a good basketball player.
Richie McKay says one of the best leaders he's ever been around, period. And you see it on the floor. Sure. Brett, great job as always. We appreciate it. Much more still to come here on this week's Flame Central. Stick with us.
Where you train is where you learn how to say, I know this. I've done this. I've got this. I'm ready. So you can surpass expectations when they say you're hired. At Liberty University, you'll train in world-class facilities as you prepare for a world-class career.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes, as well as your victories?
And the push to keep going either way.
What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us. That's Liberty to us.
What will Liberty be to you?
Well, that'll about do it for this week's edition of Flame Central. As always, for any stories you might have missed, check out libertyflamecentral.com.
Yeah, and the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. Things are getting a little crazy on there. Joe Yock's on there, so that's what happened. So make sure you download and subscribe that today. For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you next week.